In 1875, settlement in what was to become Manitoba was proceeding steadily. Acreage around the shores of Lake Manitoba were being bought up by the intrepid pioneers of the period. As such, the lake itself became a market for commerce, with resources such as fish, lumber, and later gypsum ore. So rich were these resources that communities around the south basin of Lake Manitoba rose up quickly with grandiose plans for the future. One such community, Tatogan, was thought to grow to the size of Chicago. Those plans fell apart as quickly as they formed when an innovative pioneer named Peter MacArthur made his way to the mouth of Lake Manitoba. MacArthur bought the first steamer to ply the lake, Lady Blanche, originally built by Reginald and Walter Pratt. MacArthur purchased the steamer and reconstructed her as the Isabel for his eldest daughter. Chisholm and Bubar were grocers at Tatogan. As MacArthur was establishing upriver at Westburn, they built the Saskatchewan under license of the Hudson's Bay Company. Its run was short-lived after only 2 seasons, when it became mired in a reedy marsh. MacArthur's second boat, also named Saskatchewan, built 1883, didn't fare much better. As a lumber hauler, she sailed from the Narrows down to the Whitemud River on the lake. In 1894, she burned halfway down Lake Manitoba. MacArthur continued building up the timber industry in the area. His rafts of nearly 1,000 feet and propelled by sail brought lumber and railway ties up and down the lake from the Narrows to MacArthur's Landing on the Whitemud River. Another industry popped up a short time later, as gypsum ore was discovered in vast quantities in the appropriately named Gypsumville. A number of commercial interests sought to haul the ore down the lake for use in Winnipeg and surrounding areas as plaster of Paris. The largest of these new ships constructed for this purpose was the Petrel. 125 feet in length, she was the largest of the time when built in 1898 by C.W. Malone, and quickly purchased by the Manitoba Union Mining Company to haul gypsum, followed quickly by the Marville and J.R. Spear. The gypsum business was indeed profitable, but with so many competitors, the market was never cornered. Shipping on the lake was complicated by environmental factors, as the lake was quite shallow with powerful gales that could last for days. The steamships often encountered mishaps. By 1905, the townships on the eastern shore of Lake Manitoba wanted to get in on the game. Federal money was allocated for wharves for St.Laurent and Oak Point. more transshipment points for the steamers, conveying more passengers and locally produced goods like dairy to new markets. 1910 passed with wharves only partially completed due to local money pulling out. The railway had arrived up the east side of the lake. The era of steamships was over. In the north basin of the lake, smaller steamboats continued working cream routes. Dairy product moved around the various settlements, as well as passengers, run entirely by the Icelandic immigrants of the time until the mid-1930s. The larger steamships of the South Basin still had value. The Marville, Carberry, and J.R. Spear were all moved to Lake Winnipeg in a massive undertaking. MacArthur could see it coming. He and his family left Westburn and settled on the shores of Lake Winnipegosis, just north of Lake Manitoba. He continued his traditional business ventures with smaller steamships until he passed away in 1936. Said of MacArthur after his death, a devout Christian, a pioneer, an acquisitive monopolist, a frontier aristocrat, an aggressive, frugal, unaffectionate, punctual individualist. Peter MacArthur had probed the West, had investigated it, had invested in it, and had grown with it. It was still young, but MacArthur was not.